So far this year, Polestar, Rivian, and Lucid, they've lost between $35,000 to $240,000 on every car they've sold. That's some real numbers. Let's have a look at the actual numbers and how they play out and why this is happening. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. Great to have you with us. You're watching the Electric Viking. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Just click the subscription button. You might as well if you've gotten this far. YouTube's new algorithm means that you're often not getting all of our videos in your feed. There's 7,500. I'm pretty sure you're probably not seeing a lot of them. In the description, there is a link to our newsletter. Click on that and you can get an update every day of all the latest news in the electric car industry. Polestar, Lucid, and Rivian. They're three pretty new electric car brands. All of them sell really good electric cars. And the problem is not how good their cars is. The problem is how much money these companies are spending, and they don't sell that many cars. They're not really making cars in large volume. If they made, say 10 times more cars than they are today, the cost to manufacture each car would be much, much lower. Of the three manufacturers, Geely's subsidiary Polestar, Volvo Cars' premium electric brand, is the most important and best known automaker in Europe. In the third quarter, its net loss climbed 13%. Not in a good way though, to $365 million US. That means in the first 9 months of this year, its losses increased by 80% to $1.56 billion US. It's more than 2 billion Australian dollars. During the same period, Polestar sold 44,500 vehicles worldwide, resulting in an average loss of just over 35,000 per car sold. This translated to a gross profit margin of minus 34.5% for Polestar. As a result, Polestar are doing a reverse merger, stock split. They're splitting their stock, I believe, by a factor of 30 in order to remain listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Anyway, Rivian and Lucid. Well, Rivian's numbers are pretty similar to Polestar. Converted to the number of vehicles sold, Rivian incurred a loss of $35,900 per car in the first 9 months of this year. Lucid, well, their numbers were much, much worse. In fact, it's by an order of magnitude. Lucid posted a loss of $978 million in the third quarter alone. So in a single quarter, they lost nearly $1 billion US. They delivered 4,078 vehicles during that period. This means they lost $240,000 per car they delivered. Losses per vehicle were even higher in the previous year. But $240,000 US is a lot of money. Anyway, the majority shareholder, the Saudi State Investment Fund, has had to inject fresh capital several times. Just at the beginning of November, it increased its existing credit line from $750 million to $2 billion. But they are burning through cash like crazy. CEO Peter Rawlinson was forced to resign in February, partly due to the persistently high cash burn rate. Things are, well, not much better for his successor, German manager Mark Winterhoff. Polestar, they had a few things to say. Polestar CFO Jean-Francois Mady didn't hold back when presenting the latest quarterly figures. The result for the third quarter was clearly disappointing for us. We continue to suffer from price pressure on our vehicles and also have high production costs due to tariffs, he said. Added to this is the growing financial burden of residual value guarantees in North America. These are common in the electric vehicle lease agreements and force manufacturers to cover any difference if the resale value falls below the previously calculated level, which it probably will. Given the declining prices of used electric cars in the US and Canada, this reduces profits significantly. Last year, the now departed CEO Thomas Ingerlath had projected that Polestar would reach profitability by the end of 2025. However, his successor Michael Lohscheller quickly abandoned this goal completely. As early as January, He admitted that this target would not be achieved until 2027. I think he just, to be honest, picked a year out of the hat. I don't know if that's really going to happen. The stock market reacted relentlessly. Polestar's share price on the US tech exchange, the Nasdaq, fell to 55 cents last week, a drop of 46% within a single year. At its Nasdaq listing in June 2022, the share price was just over 13 US dollars. Over 13 US dollars, it's now worth 55 cents. I mean, that's brutal. Nasdaq, therefore, already demanded in early November that Polestar meet the minimum listing requirement again by the end of August 2026, which means the stock price has to close above $1 US for at least 10 consecutive trading days. And as you can see, it's nowhere near that at 55 cents. One option is to buy back shares to support the price. However, this requires fresh capital from the parent company, Geely. And I think Geely are probably a bit sick of propping up Polestar. Geely itself is also struggling with profitability in the fiercely competitive Chinese home market, says Automotive News. Polestar's CEO emphasized sales figures when presenting the latest quarter results, and he's got a point here. Sales have increased by 36.5% year to date, while revenue has risen by 49%. We have now sold as many cars as we did in the entire year of 2024, said the CEO. The Polestar boss also points to the expansion of Polestar's dealer network to 28 markets and promises steps to make our organization and operations more efficient. Now, I personally think they need to sell more cars in China, which is where they make them. That's a huge market. I mean, but that's not a market that Polestar has actually figured out how to crack yet. These sales are urgently needed because every new market and every new base requires considerable investment. The US market is in danger, though, of disappearing. Whether Polestar's US business will ever achieve the hoped for significance is now very, very questionable. In 2024, the brand sold 11% of its vehicles there, compared to 75% in Europe. High tariffs on imported cars, particularly from China, and significant hurdles to importing Chinese software have made exporting to the US very prohibitive and unattractive. Against this backdrop, the CEO decided not to launch the new Polestar 5 GT flagship model in the US. This was unveiled at the IAA in the USA or China, so they're not going to actually sell this car in the USA or China. In Germany, the Porsche Taycan rival starts at a price of 120,000 euros. So this is an expensive car. The Polestar 5 GT, starting at a price of 120,000 euros, means they're not going to sell that many of them. Let's be real. This is a luxury strategy, and this may not work for Polestar. It doesn't quite have the brand cachet that other brands have in this sector. No, to be fair, it should, because its cars are certainly very luxurious. And let's be real, I mean, if you look at the average Polestar, it's probably nicer than the average Mercedes, for example. But it doesn't quite have the history. Foregoing China and the USA will make it very difficult for Polestar to really increase its sales to the point that it needs to in order to start making a profit. Lucid, of course, has the Saudis to fall back on. While they're burning through more cash than any other car company in the world right now, except for NIO. Well, NIO's actually reported a pretty good third quarter, so their cash burn has slowed down. It's fortunately got the Saudis to back it, but Saudi Arabia will soon get sick of investing enormous sums of money into Lucid when it sees that there's no real way to ever being profitable. And I don't think there is for Lucid. So I don't believe Lucid will stick around for the long-term future. Rivian, on the other hand, they have a different plan. They want to mass produce the R2 and the R3, and that could work. I hope it does. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.